Apexinno sent me a little care package. Today I'll be showing you their Quest 3 facial interface. I've spent a bunch of time with it, and I'm going to let you know what I think. Before we get too far, I'm going to give you an update on our big Quest 3 giveaway. We are just 299 subscribers from giving away that Quest 3. All you have to do to enter is subscribe and comment hashtag Quest 3 in the comments, and you will be eligible to win a Quest 3. So for the Apexinno facial interface, you get an instruction manual. Got to keep track of that. Don't want to lose it. You get eye covers, or lens covers actually, for your headset. I love it when companies put these in because, man, people scratch their lenses all the time. This will save you. You also get a little Ziploc plastic bag that contains an extra face pad. More on that in a second. And the facial interface with a face pad. Now, why would you want to replace your facial interface, you ask? Well, that's because the stock Quest 3 interface sucks. That's right, I said it. The stock one is really bad. It honestly gets a little bit better as you use it, but right off the bat, it's really stiff and scratchy. The adjustments are kind of a pain. It always pops out. It feels like you're breaking it every time you have to deal with the facial interface. So get rid of that. Pop off each side, and then you're left with no facial interface. The Apexinno facial interface is a huge upgrade for a bunch of different reasons. It's got a PU leather pad with some little holes in it that make it breathable. Much more comfortable than that gross foam interface that comes stock with the Quest 3. It also has some ventilation out the top to help with fogging inside the facial interface. Really appreciate that. It's got a nose piece here to help with light bleed that you get through the schnoz hole or nose hole on the Quest 3. The big innovation that they did, though, is they put a button right here, right there. So if you wear glasses, or sometimes wear glasses, all you got to do is push that button in and then adjust right here. I'm going to do it so you guys can see it. Push the button in, and then it helps you just slide the facial interface in and out. So if you have a small set of glasses, you can wear them with this and go to the adjustment point number 2 instead of adjustment point number 1. If you have a larger set of glasses, you can just push that button again, go all the way out to adjustment point number 3 for a larger set of glasses. That's big. The stock Quest 3 adjustments were horrible. It was a big pain. Always seemed like there was like 4 different places where you adjust them, and it always seemed like they were at different places or would snap out or constantly be moving around, which kind of twists the shape of the facial interface. This middle piece is actually removable too. You can just pop it right out if you don't want to have the nose piece on there, or you have a giant schnoz that affects this and it gets uncomfortable. You can just remove it and go without. Now, I actually like mine to have that little nose piece in place. So we'll put that back in. That just helps with light bleed, keeps everything nice and dark inside your facial interface, and allows you to play with total immersion. Now, to install your new facial interface on your Quest 3, it's pretty simple. Get it angled so the camera has a chance at seeing it. So you're just going to put that in place and then snap it in. One of the big mistakes I see a lot of people making is they don't snap it in all the locations. There's multiple places. On this facial interface, you really need to make sure the nose piece is snapped in on the bottom of the Quest 3. That's the place that I see it pop out the most, or just I failed to get it installed correctly. Once it's in, it shouldn't move. You shouldn't hear any more snapping noises once you try to adjust it. If you don't get all the snaps snapped in, you're going to end up with light bleed all over the place. It's just because it's not installed correctly. Just take your time, wiggle it in place, and make sure all the different attachment points are attached. For the padding part that actually touches your face, there are tiny holes. Let's see if it'll pick them up. There are tiny holes along the padding that allow for breathability. In theory, this is kind of the best of both worlds between a completely absorbent facial interface and a non-absorbent facial interface. Most of it's not going to absorb anything, but those little holes will allow sweat to be absorbed. Now, I don't sweat much at all, so I actually tested this in a sink, which I'll show you here in a second, to see how absorbent it would be and to see, honestly, how long it would take to dry, so it's just not going to get gross and stay wet all the time. Be right back. Okay, so I'm going to test the Apexinno facial interface for absorbency. If it absorbs water by just pouring on there, then I'm pretty sure it's going to absorb sweat when it's pressed up against your face. So there we are, just kind of pouring it on. All right, so you can see there's a lot of water running off as expected, but those little dimples look like they might be absorbing some. All right, give it a little shake. I'm gonna press it. Okay, so I wiped it off there, and then now when I press, I can see little droplets of water that are showing up. So clearly it's going to absorb some sweat. So that worked pretty well. You could see by pouring water on it, not all of it absorbed into it. It didn't get completely soaked, but it did absorb some moisture, which for heavy sweaters, you really need that. Now, after I got it wet, I actually set it aside, let it sit there till the next morning, and then checked to see if it was still damp. And good news, it wasn't. So there is enough breathability there, so it actually did dry overnight. This set is actually sold in two different versions. One that comes with the extra facial interface, which I have here, and one that just comes with one facial interface. If you feel like swapping them out, you can. So I've actually spent a couple of weeks with this and really like the Apexinno facial interface. The one thing I haven't done is put a flashlight on it. So I'm going to test now, make sure it's on. I'm going to test now and see if I can see any light bleed. This setting is 100% in. Out of the three settings, it's the base setting. So with a flashlight on there, really, I just get a little bit of light bleed on the bottom, and right now I don't have any, actually. None whatsoever. Oh, wait, there's tiny. There is a tiny little spot up here, but I am telling you, with the game on, you'll never notice it. Now I'm gonna check it with the other settings. So I'm gonna push the side button in and give it a little tug. See if you can hear the click. I'll put it right by the microphone. There's a little more light bleed underneath the nose for me. For you, it might be a little different there. And then, yeah, there's two spots. I mean, with the flashlight in there, I get a little bit of light bleed through the top. If I go to the third position, I go to the third position. Now, this would be for people that are wearing giant glasses. Put it back on. Flashlight's on. And I'm checking light bleed. And I can see there's a little right down in here and right up in here. Okay, now with the screen on, that light bleed is pretty much invisible, except for through the nose piece. There's a little bit of light bleed that just won't go away from me. With the screens on, you don't notice it. It's such minimal light bleed on there. Like I said earlier, I found 2 listings for the Apexinno facial interface on Amazon. One that comes with 2 facial interface pads and one that just comes with a single. The single is just $19.99. That's a steal. For $6 more, you can get 2 facial interfaces. So if you have, let's say you have more than one person using your Quest 3 and you don't want to be grossed out with their facial interface, you don't want to have to clean it off every time you take it off and put it on, just get 2. The other person can use one and you can use one. You don't have to absorb all their grossness. I also recommend the pack with 2 facial interfaces if you sweat a lot. For those of you that haven't evolved past sweat, having 2 facial interfaces makes a lot of sense. And still, you're only looking at $25.99 for a heck of a good upgrade for your Quest 3. Links for the Apexinno facial interface will be in both the pinned comments and description for this video. Thank you for watching, everybody. Stay cool out there. It's pretty hot these days. And that is what's happening. See ya. Apexinno sent me a little care package. Today, I'll be showing you their Quest 3 facial interface. Apexinno sent me a little care package. Today, I'll be showing you their Quest. Apexinno sent me a little care package. Apexinno sent me a little care package. Today I'll be showing you their Quest 3 facial interface. I've spent a bunch of time with it.